So I've had a lot of people ask me about my PMDD and my journey and how it was diagnosed and what management I had. I was diagnosed 5 years ago. I have been to see my GP, but it wasn't diagnosed there. I ended up having to see somebody privately. I went to go and see a private gynecologist, and immediately within about 5 minutes of speaking to him, he diagnosed me with the PMDD. And what was really interesting is, you know, I've been a doctor now for nearly over 15 years, and I hadn't really heard of that terminology before. This is going back 5 years ago. I'd heard of PMS, but PMDD was never something that was formally taught within the medical curriculum when I was in medical school. He talked to me about some of the options of treatment, and the most stable and symptoms-wise that I had experience was when I was pregnant. So there was no fluctuations in my hormones, and like I've said, the actual value of the hormones are normal. It's the way that our brain reacts to those that's a problem. So when I was pregnant, I never suffered with any symptoms. I suffer with migraine, so going on a specific type of pill called the combined oral contraceptive pill was not an option. So I was offered injections called Zoladex, which are GnRH analogues, and basically they work. It's such a high dose that they give. It basically switches off the functioning of the ovaries, so it puts you into a medical menopause. And so he said, go outside, have a chat with your other half and see what you want to do. And so then I went on that treatment for just short of a year, and obviously I didn't have any cycles, I didn't have any periods, and my symptoms did improve. But what I found really interesting was that not one person within the medical community talked to me about what I was eating, what I was doing in terms of my exercise, and looked at my lifestyle and what we should do within that. I had a year of the Zoladex, and then I came off the Zoladex. It took a couple of months for my periods to re-establish and reappear, and when they did, my symptoms did come back. They were slightly easier, but then I tried to take a different approach. So I started looking at my lifestyle and looking at the 6 pillars of my lifestyle, so my nutrition, my exercise, my sleep, mental health, positive psychology, and looking at all of the environmental toxins and looking at that and seeing how I can adapt those, eat and fuel and exercise according to my menstrual cycle to see if that had any impact. From a case study point of view, it has improved my symptoms, and that's how I currently manage my symptoms. Everybody's very different, so you always need to speak to your healthcare professional who you're under in terms of how you should manage your symptoms. I explain a lot more within my book about exactly how I eat and I exercise according to my menstrual cycle, and how I manage stress and the importance of sleep and those sorts of aspects for my hormonal health. I think it's important to remember, yes, I am a doctor, but I'm not your doctor, so it is always important, if any of these symptoms resonate with you, that you go and speak to your doctor, your GP, your healthcare provider, and say to them, these are my symptoms, could it be this? And actually being armed with that information and taking it to them is so much better for you to come up with a shared decision plan. You know, at the time it was probably appropriate for me to go on that Zoladex, but if I was to rewind the clock, it would have been useful for a healthcare professional to talk to me about other options within my lifestyle and explore that a little bit more. So, you know, I encourage you to go and see someone if you are suffering, because there is more education and awareness of PMDD at the moment out there, and your healthcare professional and yourself should engage in that conversation about what's the best course of action for yourself. Hi, thank you for watching my video. I hope you thought it was of value. Hit the like button and subscribe to my channel.